With NASCAR's current TV deal being up at the end of 2024, there's gonna be the question in the air of who covers the sport from 2025 and beyond. And one of the networks at the moment that's been mentioned to have interest is that of ESPN with ABC. But for many longtime fans, this brings back plenty of bad memories, as ESPN's last run with NASCAR was marred with self-inflicted wounds. But you have to go all the way back to 2008 at a race at Phoenix to see, quite early on in their tenure, the breaking point for fans. When ESPN was announced to return to NASCAR, fans actually were happy in two ways. Firstly, it was a return to a former broadcast partner that fans had fond memories of. The second way of being happy for fans is that NBC would be leaving the sport, as in their first tumultuous tenure, well, there were issues to say the least. The network was swamped when it came to commercial breaks, to the point where fans had NBC posters saying nothing but commercials. And they made questionable personnel decisions, as well as trying to bait NASCAR fans into making news stories, trying to make them out to be racist assholes. So with ESPN, it was a way to get away from the bad NBC problems. And to start with, 2007 was shaky. The initial race, the 2007 race at the Brickyard, was honestly a top-notch broadcast on just about every level. But rainouts and the awkwardness of Jerry Punch in the booth with broadcast newbies Andy Petrie and Rusty Wallace were a difficult watch and listen for us fans at home. In 2008, Dale Jarrett would sub in for Rusty, making the chemistry a lot better. But the network didn't have much respect for the sport, even with it averaging 6 to 8, sometimes even 10 million viewers a week during a 10-month season. But it could be looked over during the 2008 chase that had become a two-man battle between two-time consecutive champion Jimmie Johnson and Roush Fenway star Carl Edwards. 106 points separated them heading into the penultimate race of the season in Phoenix. While difficult to overcome, it wasn't a slam dunk for the 48 just yet. While JJ won at Phoenix in the spring, he was outrun for much of the night by Mark Martin in the 8 car and Dale Jr. in the 88. So it would be a bit of a question going into the weekend. Of course, him starting from the pole position wasn't a good sign for the 99 Ford. Either way, it was set to go green on ABC on a warm November afternoon.
Leader and pole sitter Jimmie Johnson, 2 races to go in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Can he rebound from a disappointment in Texas a week ago? Great crowd on hand as Jimmie will lead him down to the green flag. Remember, Jamie McMurray desperately wants to lead this lap and primarily keep Jimmie Johnson from leading a lap because his teammate is Carl Edwards and he doesn't want to give away those 5 bonus points.
Yeah, this is definitely team racing right here. This 26 car is very motivated to try to keep the 48 car from leading this lap.
He's going to be able to do that right here on this first lap, and that high line can get a good run off of turn 2 as we saw Jamie McMurray did. He did off of turn 4 and led lap 1.
While Jamie McMurray had helped his teammate for the time being, it wouldn't be too long before the race was slowed. First by Elliott Sadler and Sam Hornish Jr. crashing. This bad luck for the 77 kept up in the pits as well, and while the green came back out, it wouldn't be out for too long, as Brian Vickers' Red Bull Toyota had a flat. And then the race situation got even worse.
Standard text rates will apply.
Okay, see how fast Jimmie Johnson's going to go after this lead and get these 5 bonus points.
We are getting some reports of some drops of moisture on the backstretch, and the caution is coming back out.
But Jimmie will not get these 5 points. Well, he was right there, too. I bet he's like, Dad, gum.
Raining in the desert. That's NASCAR's luck. This would continue into the afternoon, fully stopping the race under a red flag. This fact would be important for later on in the broadcast in the day. Luckily, the red only lasted about 20 minutes or so, as the desert sun helped dry the track. So by lap 48, they were back to green. At this point, it would be Kurt Busch taking control of the race, Jimmie Johnson still not getting his 5 bonus points just yet for leading a lap.
Jimmy's not able to make the pass yet. He's got there, but not able to get up beside him.
And they're catching the tail of the field now, so they're going to be in some traffic. Jimmy needs to go ahead and take advantage of this right now. It looks like he's got him.
Yeah, it looks like where he's really beating him through that center of turn 3 and off of turn 4. He wasn't able to lead that lap.
Jimmy's got to go as well because McMurray is moving in behind him in a hurry. The 26 car.
Let's see, this is where he's really been good when you get down here to turn 3. Jimmy's able to roll his car around. Now he's got that spot.
From this point forwards, it was the Lowe's team race to lose. With no crashes or rain, this became the first long green run of the night, so long that the green flag pit stop cycle would occur just prior and through the 100 lap mark. It wouldn't be until around the halfway point of the race that a yellow would fly, flying for a familiar friend, a phantom debris yellow. But this was only a brief hiccup, as this run would go on long as well. This time, the run didn't go long enough for stops, and the debris was at least real. So, rinse, wash, repeat, with the green flag waving again with 94 laps to go. While Jamie McMurray tried to stop Johnson's dominance, it wouldn't work, as much like the previous 2 years, the 48 was just too strong. Unfortunately for fans at home, this run again would be far too predictable, as the 48 led unopposed and passing was limited through the field. And then, of course, more debris slowed the field down once more with 51 to go. Now this would bring on the money time and the money stops, and the 48 crew was money. This, though, would be where the race started to take an ugly turn.
I have some breaks, or good breaks along the way.
I'll tell you what, though, Chad Knaus and the guys, even Jimmy, are probably thinking, man, they're going to be the longest. Whoa, there goes the 5-car round.
Yellow. Oh, whoa, and it gets hit. Ridges there, the 97 of Ambrose.
Look at this 28 car. It's at the 38 car, all jacked up in the back. Somebody's underneath him.
So much we can't even see who that is.
Got a little fire off the exhaust.
That's the 84 of Scott Speed.
This large incident brought out yet another red flag nearly immediately. The track was covered in both debris and fluids, but as the red extended past the 18-minute mark, trouble was starting to brew, and had nothing to do with anything at Phoenix broadcast-wise. Instead, had to do with what was going on in the ABC and ESPN studios.
Now, race coverage will continue here on ABC on the West Coast, and you can also find us on ESPN2. And if you're watching on the East Coast, it's time now for America's funniest home videos. After this word from our ABC stations, remember we're going over to ESPN2 on the East Coast.
Yeah, the NASCAR race would be moved to a third-tier channel for America's funniest videos. Something that only a couple years later, you could just find on YouTube for free. For NASCAR fans, it was righteously an outrage. The equivalent of banishing Game 6 of the NLCS to FX for a new Simpsons episode. So, as the field restarted with 34 to go, everyone in America not on the West Coast had to go to cable or just plain miss the finish. And add to all this that the West Coast viewers, well, they didn't get to see the restart at least, as they were on commercial for the first lap or so of the run. So with millions scorned, the final 34 laps clicked away, sporadic yellows following, leading to a green-white checker under the lights.
So contact could totally change the complexion.
Look at Kurt, he gets a better run this time.
Kurt Busch got a good jump. Carl Edwards got a good jump.
Jimmy Johnson laid the power down pretty good off of turn 2.
I mean, Kurt Busch did all he could do right there.
Yeah.
He was right on him.
Jimmy Johnson will come out of 4 for the white flag here at Phoenix. 1 lap to go.
Whoa, look at Kurt Busch.
Think he's not driving hard?
He's still digging. He got that thing completely sideways.
Jimmy Johnson sideways there, too. Kurt got a nice run off the corner.
Okay, we're coming
See if
to
he can get to the bumper.
Can he get there? Here he comes. Kurt Busch, a car length away. Jimmy Johnson trying to hang on.
Car length back. Awesome job, dude.
And Jimmy Johnson wins for the 7th time this year. Whoa, contact.
Hard lick for these cars. That's a bad way to end the race.
With the win, Johnson basically locked up the championship, needing to finish 36th or better to win it at Homestead. 141 points between first and second. But to NASCAR's dismay, the chase was the least of anybody's concern. The Monday morning talk was about TV. George McNeely, ESPN's media relations manager, responded to the backlash, in quote saying, "After 2 red flags, rain in Phoenix, and 4.5 hours on ABC, we were still 34 minutes from the end of the telecast as it turned out. We told fans in the East and Central time zones from the second red flag on that the race would be moving to ESPN2. ABC's entertainment viewers and NASCAR fans were both put well served, but in a tough spot. And we are fortunate to have ESPN2 among our networks to serve the fans." End quote. This was the last straw for NASCAR fans. ESPN didn't show much respect to the sport to this point, and with 6 years still remaining on their deal with NASCAR, it was going to be rough. When the official numbers came out that week about how many watched, it showed that over 1 million viewers, at least average, dropped off and didn't get to see the end of the race. The move also sparked debate about none other than later start times. Yeah, things never change. And the big crux of it is that it gave less of a lenient window for races to finish in, both for TV and just at the track. Now, the effects of this have been seen up to the present day. The biggest, in my opinion, was in 2015. The NASCAR Championship race had been delayed at the start from rain, and NBC kept up on the coverage through to the end of the race, watching Kyle Busch take the checkered flag, even with them cutting into NFL pregame coverage. The result was an average of 7.64 million viewers for the entire race, most watching the finale in nearly a decade, with 12.4 million watching the 18 car take the checkered flag. Also, this set the tone for fans being more favorable to NBC. But now, I'm going to pass this over to you. What are the worst NASCAR broadcast moments you can remember? Let me know down below. And while you're at it, leave a like in this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel for more great NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support, and be sure to watch the NASCAR Cup Series tonight on Idk Player's channel, as I'll be co-commentating the 3rd race of the season at Darlington. So, until then, have a good one.